Welcome to the Coffee Bar Stories,
A DTZ Entertainment Presentation.
hosted by Dad and Son. Welcome back to the Coffee Bar Stories, and in today's episode, Dad has some stories to tell. And would you like to tell us what they're about?
Yeah, they're going to be just a couple of not real long stories. They're short stories of me and some of the other people I've known through my time that we can tell that entertain. They're short ones. They're not big ones. Like one of the guys that I used to run around with, well, like your Uncle Kenny, like him. There's another friend I had, kind of like him, not as a big goofball as much. He was more took everything too seriously.
Oh, okay.
He was, yeah, he was always, everything was, oh my God, the world's going to end type of deal and, type thing, and the sky is falling. So I got him good one time. Me and him went to go and help out. I believe it was his uncle. He had an elderly uncle that had I ain't gonna say it's a farm. I don't know what they really did out there, but he had like barns and like big machine sheds is what it was, more like 4 or 5 sheds out there.
Yeah.
And on this one shed, it was probably like the size of a one-car garage size building, and he needed it reshingled. And so I was going to help the buddy out shingling because I'd done it before, and stuff. So we go up there to do this. Now, this guy, real anal about things, and his uncle, I understand, trying to do this job and get it right.
Yeah.
So we go out there and he measures the roof. I help him with it and everything. He's okay, corner to corner, this and that. He's getting square footage. He thinks he's got it, orders his shingles, and we're there waiting for him to show up, a day or two later, waiting for the shingles to show up. They show up and I'm not there just yet, okay? Getting ready to drive over there.
Yeah.
People showed up and dropped off the shingles. They have like a little crane thing on the back of their truck. They just picked up the pallet, set it down on the ground, drove off, after he signed for it, and I don't think he paid attention. I pulled up and I'm looking at the skid in the driveway, and I'm like, hey man, how many bundles have you already gotten on the roof, dude? Man, you gotta tear that off first. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I said, you ain't got enough bundles here. On it,
Yeah.
there was maybe enough to do one side complete and like a half of the other side maybe. And that's not counting any broken ones you couldn't use or had to shorten.
Yeah.
He gets so mad. I measured you, they shorted me, blah, blah, blah. And I looked at his thing and I said, well, let me see your thing. Maybe they were short. They shorted you. And I looked at it and I'm like, no, they didn't short him. He miscalculated that big time. He called and told them what happened, and they were nice about it. They brought out, they had another run in the afternoon. So they brought out the rest of the bundles in, and the good part was we had to tear off the roof first, the shingles off. We couldn't put over what he had already. It was too many shingles. They're real bad, torn up. So we go to scraping this off, and as I'm going along tearing this off at a good rate, he's over there cussing and fuming and fussing. He's over there tearing off the shingles, but he's trying to get all the nails out at one time, and they're like one and done.
Yeah.
With it, right? And it's not going to happen that way. And he's screaming and hollering and cussing and fuming. Next thing I know, I hear this. What did he say? I forget the cuss word, but he cusses real loud, and I hear this boom.
Oh, fuck.
He caught him. He got his foot caught up on a shingle that flopped back on him. And when he went to lift it and move, I guess it held his leg down. He wasn't prepared, fell down, rolled off the roof, landed onto the ground. It's about a 9-10 foot drop from the edge of the roof, maybe a little more, maybe 11. I'm just like, what the hell's wrong with you, man? Looking at him, he's cussing again and gets up. Oh, this bullshit. And I'm like, dude, I'll tell you what. I'll tear it off. You sit down and take it easy. So I go to town. I just bulldog the shit out of this. I get it torn off. Well, I don't get every damn nail out or everything, right? Mm-hmm. So what I do is I start walking around, and any of them that I know ain't gonna come out, I fucking slam down with a hammer so they're more flush. I do that, and this asshole gets up on the roof. He has a gall to tell me there's nails over there. There's nails. I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, that's gonna tear up the roof. Or what if I said, listen here, man. You didn't do shit. You fell off the roof. I tore it off. You'll be good. All right? Don't worry about it. Fume for a few minutes and fuss and fight about it, and finally he concedes. Because I'm like, then you do it. The minute I told him you do it, Now you don't want to do it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's all good. Instead of one of us just being the humper, bringing the bundles of shingles up onto the roof, we both do. You know, we're both helping get them up there, and then we're going to start, right?
Yeah.
We start roofing, and then I'm telling him, I'm like, I'll take this side, you take this side. No, we'll just do one side together at a time. Be quicker. It'd be quicker if we both do one side each.
Yeah.
He's just massively insistent that I do this.
Yeah.
That we both do the same side. Okay, screw it, let's do it. I start on the edge, and I'm like, so you're going to throw for me? And he's like, no, I thought we'd work from here and go out. I said, you start from one side and go to the other, dude. What are you doing? I said, you can either throw shingles or you can do the other side. This is not big enough for two people to go at it like this. We're gonna bump into each other. He's insistent, so I'm like, screw it. All right, so he starts it and he's hammering one down. I get him setting up, and he's going and starting to nail, and I'm starting to set him out for him. I'm hearing him pounding, and I go back to the beginning again to start over, start laying him down to get him evened up for him to hit. Yeah. And stuff, because I talked him into doing that at least. All of a sudden, I don't hear a hammer, and I don't hear a movement, and I'm like, man, come on, dude, what the hell could you be doing? I look over, he's not on the roof no more.
Oh.
He, on the last shingle he hit, he leaned over to look at the side of it, and he bloop,
fell over and fell through.
Right off onto, thank God there was like a mound of hay there, hay bale. Yeah, he landed on that. He was all right, but he laid there for a while. So while he was down there, I took advantage. I grabbed the nails, and because we didn't have a nail gun in that back then, and I just went to town slamming them in. He was so persistent with everything. He got up there, and I got half the roof done, and he's like, man, I'm going to have to lay down for a little bit. I'm like, I'll tell you what, you go to the truck, lay in the back of the truck, because it was shady under a shade tree. Yeah. And I said, I'll get as far as I can, and then we'll go and have lunch. I go to town on this thing, jumped up one side, finished it. Then I hit the other side, and I'm coming up the other side, and I'm getting to the point where I know I'm running out of shingles. So I finished that up, put down the last shingle. I'm like, okay, cool, we can go to lunch. I get down, I get him up. Hey, man, come on, man, we can go to lunch. I got, I'm out of shingles anyway, so we might as well do lunch a little early. He goes, oh, okay. And he gets walking around. He goes and looks at it and goes, that's uneven. That's uneven. Certain pointing at lines in the roof. Well, that's not even. I said, so what? He's like, well, it don't look right. I said, you're on the middle of a damn field. What does it matter? It's going to protect it. It is not going to rot. The roof is going to be in good shape still. Well, what's your fucking problem? That, and whether they weren't really straight or were straight is neither here nor there to me. Yeah. The roof could cave in or, could be just in and it's just projecting. It looks like it's off because of that or whatever. Could be an optical illusion. I don't know, and I don't really care. I want to go to lunch. I'm done. You laid down. Yeah. You did one line and fell off the roof again. He was a perfectionist or wanted everything perfected. Yeah. But he always put himself in that type of crap. Hurt himself. We go to lunch. Finally, I'm just like, dude, I got to eat. I'm gonna kill you if I don't get something to eat. So we go and eat. We get back and the shingles showed up just as we were getting back. It was just luck that way, right? And we get them and the guy's like, man, you're only getting like, I think 7 more bundles or something like that. Oh, okay. So we just took them off the truck. The guy handed them down off the pallet to us. We put them over by the area. We go up there and start again. All of a sudden, I put them out. I laid out a bunch. And I go down to get a drink of my soda from lunch I brought back with me. And all of a sudden, I hear the hammer go. A hammer sound, but it didn't hit the nail. He hit his fucking thumb, screaming and yelling. I'm like, what in the fuck? I knew what he did, but I rushed up there. And we were using roof hatchets. But one side is a hatchet, and the other side, and this is the fucked up part, the other side's a square head that has a bunch of needle points sticking out. So they're like little mountain, like almost like a meat cleaver, but on a small scale of, you know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. That's what type of hammer it is. He squared on that head with that thumb, and he shot that thumb apart. It split. There was no, well, I'll just put a Band-Aid around it. It's throbbing a little bit, and I'll get through today. No, you're going to the hospital. It's done. I didn't get a good look at it. He had wrapped it up by that point in his shirt and holding on and freaking out. He was a sissy. He wasn't a pain person. He couldn't take the pain. He was freaking out. Yeah. But from what I understood, just behind the knuckle of the thumb to the tip, he blew out, crushed the bone and everything. I mean, he must have threw one hell of a strike on that. And those got weight to it. They're not light either. them roofing hatchets they're not nothing to play with. You know, because the guys I knew, they would take the roofing nail and they'd hold it between their two fingers and they'd tap it and then bam, hit it once and go in. You know, bam, bam. You know, and the way they were so quick about being able to do it like that. You know, they can hit lines in no time, you know. But he wasn't like that. He's okay at it. He would get good if he did it for a living. He would be real good at it, but
yeah,
that, you know, that type of guy. I take him to the hospital and I leave. You know, they told me he's going to be there a long time, you know, to get in and all that. So I leave him there and I go back and I finish up the roof and cap it and the whole nine. Cleaned up the area and come back hospital to pick him up later on. And I get him in there and we drive back. Fresh out of his mouth, I could have slapped him. He said something about the shingles that they brought weren't exact match to the shingles that were there.
Why does that even matter?
I don't know what the deal. They didn't look off to me. I think it was more of a shade thing, but I don't know. But he swore up and down that they were off. And I don't think they make a slightly back then like a slight off color of this shingling, because it's just regular shingles. Yeah, I was like, all right, dude. You know, here it is. He's got his thumbs all wrapped up. It's fucked up. They did pins. He was there for, I think it took me 3 more hours to finish the roof up. So, and I went home and cleaned up and then went and got him. So he was probably there 6 or 7 hours.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and I guess they opened his thumb, did what they could and just closed it back up. I don't even know if they pinned it, if they saved it, or if he just told them to, you know, whatever and stuff. But I dropped him off, man. I didn't call that asshole a kid. And I was like, man, dude, you were one anal asshole.
And accident prone.
Oh, that's my thing. It's like he kept getting hurt because he's all overbearing. I mean, it's hard to explain because he's just in this.
He wants to be so good at it, but it just isn't.
It's not that he wants to be good at it. It has to look like the greatest thing in the world, and it's just over the top shit. And it's like, dude, you're not. There's no skill level here to get that done to.
Yeah.
Nor do you want to pay for that skill level to get it done to.
Yeah.
You got to accept it is what it is, and people don't want that, or especially for free. That pisses me off. You're not even giving me a dime.
Yeah.
I know he got paid. I know that. I know that he was given money, but I didn't get anything. I was being nice to help him out and being my buddy and shit. And I like, oh, fuck this guy. Never again did I help him do shit. Hell, I didn't talk to him ever again. After that, he ended up, I ran with him one more time after that, and that time was the last. He had done some stupid shit when we were out, and I just couldn't let it. You know, that's something I couldn't overlook. What you did is unforgivable. I can't hang out with you no more, dude. So that's the kind of guy that I used to always end up trying to be nice and help out, and then you get crapped on by their overbearingness and stuff. And I was friends with this guy probably a good 9-10 years altogether, you know, and it's like, damn, dude, you know, I got to cut you the fuck off because you're an ass.
Yeah, it sounds like the friend that I had for the longest time, that Fluffy, my buddy, actually broke the friendship up last time, because he was overbearing. Everything had to be his way or it's the highway, and in my case, I always had no choice but to help him with this stupid crap, even though I didn't want to. Sometimes you got to call it. Yeah, I mean, it took Fluffy to help me call it, but I mean, I ended up doing it.
There's certain people that I won't talk to just because there's certain things you've done or you will not change. I'm not going to keep going with that. I'm not going to sit in a pattern of whatever the ignorance is that's pissing me off or making me not want to hang with you no longer. You know? And it's sad that, you know, you can count some good times, but when the bad times or the more frustrating that it's a challenge to hang out with this guy, this person type deal is, the more, you know, you're ready to call it. It's time to get the hell away. You know, things ain't gonna change. Okay, what we're gonna do, son, I think we'll take a break for a minute, get these commercials in that I'm kind of excited for everybody to hear, and then after that I'll come back. I got another buddy I'll tell you about that I used to hang with. I'll tell you what, he's a high school buddy. So when we come back, son, and we'll get on to the buddy I had in high school that I ran with for a minute. DTZ Entertainment presents a new podcast, Stories That Are Made Up, hosted by Dad from Coffee Bar Stories. Check out a episode every 2 weeks.
Rello Radio Show, Monday nights at 7 p.m. Central Time. DJ CO1.
Stories That Are Made Up is a podcast hosted by me, Dad from Coffee Bar Stories. Check out my made-up stories every 2 weeks from DTZ Entertainment.
Alright, we're back, and when we left off, Dad said he was going to tell a story about him and a buddy from high school, so we'll let Dad tell that story.
Okay, there's a guy I was pretty good friends with in high school. Occasionally on weekends we go out cruising and whatnot, but we decided one weekend he wanted to go down to this place that has like bluffs at it, and there's this place that you go to and you can sit on the edge of the bluffs. Basically it had like some rock formations that actually kind of like a chair or a bench or whatever, you can sit and you can look and overlook the water, the woods and everything. It was just a pretty scenery area, but it's a known place to the locals to go and drink and smoke weed up at.
Yeah.
So in this buddy of mine, he's an alright dude. He was okay. If he liked to drink and smoke weed and stuff, but he wasn't a troublemaker, so that was a good part. But we decided we're going to go up there. Everything was cool. We walked up, and there's some people coming down, from there first, and they're walking down the trail, and we're like, hey, how you doing? They're like, man, it's nice up there, We chit-chat with them for like 2-3 seconds as we go by, exchange niceties, I guess. And we get on top up there where the bench and everything is. We're sitting up there. I'm like, man, it's pretty nice. Nobody around. So me and my buddy, we fire up the doobie and crack open a beer. We finish the doob and drink like 2 beers. All of a sudden we hear these group of people coming up. And we're like, oh, shit, hopefully they're cool. Which, it's hard to judge when people are coming up and chit-chatting in a group. Usually, if we're sitting there, drinking beers, talking, they come on up and they're, hey, how you doing type thing. It was a couple guys, like 3 guys and 2 girls, I think is what it was. Me and my buddy were probably 15, 16 type deal at the time. Well, it had to be 16. We were driving. So, I'd say they were probably 21, 22 were the people that come up on there were around that age, college kids probably. Okay. But I don't think they were in college, but they're about the college kids age. But we're up there and they're not bothering us or nothing. We're just chit-chatting amongst each, they're talking amongst themselves. Me and my buddy were talking, and he's like, man, you want to smoke in there? Dude, I got it rolled, because we talked earlier about you don't go up there and think you're rolling doobies up there. You have your weed blowing down the way from you easily. So he pulls out the doob. We fired up and kind of stepped a little farther away from to smoke because we don't know how they are about it and whatnot. Some people get a little upset. Well, we smoke it, and these guys, next thing I know, like finishing the doobie up, we look over and they're over here and they pull out like a bottle of tequila and orange juice maybe or something else. I don't know what the hell they brought out, but they were drinking it heavily, pouring in glasses and drinking them, and this goes on for like 10-15 minutes. They're drinking pretty heavily on the bottom, passing around and goofing around, and you can tell they're getting a little buzzy. Me and my buddy are like, man, they're kind of talking asshole-ish, and they're not talking to us bad. They're not talking to each other. Talking just like assholes about people. I don't know them. My buddy don't know them. Just talking about people they know assholishly.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So we're like, oh man, they're kind of the douchebag, dickhead type people. So we were kind of watching ourselves, but we wanted to finish our beers up because we want to walk all the way back with beer. We only brought maybe an 18 pack with us. I think that's all we had. So we were probably getting close to being done anyway. I'm looking at my buddy, so my back's to the people, and he's talking to me, and then he goes, oh shit. He goes, turn around slowly. I think they're gonna fucking do something bad. And I turned around, and this dude has a rock. It's got to be like the size of a football, okay, of a rock. And he's got it up over his fucking head. And I'm like, what the fuck is this guy gonna do? I'm like, there's no way he can make it to the water. He's not throwing that thing in the water. You're way too far from the water on this bluff to hit it.
Yeah.
No way. And we're probably, what, 150 feet in the air? 200 feet or so? It's a tall bluff area. And I'm like, there's no fucking way. And there's a road down below it, you know, that runs next to the bluffs. And I'm like, there's no fucking. And then he throws it. Me and my buddy, our eyes are probably like $half wide, shitting ourselves. Like, oh my God. And it's going down and it hits a fucking car on its hood and windshield, right in that perfect area of it.
Man.
And it rolled off or whatever, and the motherfucker turned around and was coming back and looking up and shit. Me and my buddy, we ran. We went down from the bluff, because you could see the dude, he was fucking coming back, and he was looking up on the bluff to see if he could see who the fuck was up there. And he'd probably gonna be down there looking for some motherfuckers. We took off. I could not fucking believe that. My buddy, I was like, man, dude, what kind of fucking shitheads do that? They thought it was funny and shit. I'm like, that could have killed that motherfucker.
Yeah.
I mean, thank God, I guess the way it hit the windshield didn't pop, bust in. It was cracked to shit.
Yeah.
But the top of the hood was very damaged up. It was dented in good, but they could have killed that fucking guy. He's just driving along, and out of nowhere, there is signs farther down that road that say, you know, be expecting falling rocks, but you're not looking for them to fall off like that.
Yeah,
what you're expecting them is to roll down into your car. You know, they're not flying off and landing on top of it. It took a lot. As far as he threw it, it was a hell of a throw. The water was too far.
Yeah.
You weren't making it to the water. You had to be really, 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 really strong to get it rocked that far. That was a jerk. We got down. Thank God we got out of that area and stuff. We ended up going farther down to the local town and ended up going into the biker bar that's off the road and it's up in the woods a little bit.
Yeah.
He went in. I don't know how the hell he did, because we're only 16 years old, but they have picnic tables outside to sit at, you know, because the bikers like to hang out outside in the summer most of the time at this bar, and it's surrounded by woods. You just got a gravel road that goes up to it and stuff, and it's a legit bar. It's not a biker clubhouse. It's a bar. He went inside and they served his ass. We must have sat there and drank for another 2.5 hours. And those guys are wild out there. They're having time in their lives, throwing horseshoes, drinking beer, shooting their guns off into the woods, like Target thing. They put, you know, their cans and bottles up there and shoot them, because no cops are coming out there where they were at. And shit, it was a pretty good time, but he was a gutsy son of a bitch, man, because I wouldn't have done it. When he pulled in there, the only reason why I stayed with him was and stuff, because he had the balls to go and do it all, man. I was like, well, if he's willing to do it, fuck it, I'm here with him.
Yeah.
Because if it had been me, I would have pulled up and been like, oh shit, click, 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 and the reverse back out. That's some bitch. I'll go on home. I'm done. Or maybe hopefully find a convenience store and get a 6-pack of beer out of it. Being underage, maybe they won't ID me. Get lucky, you know.
Yeah.
With my scraggly wannabe beard, you know. Yeah, we had a pretty good time there. I didn't see nothing really like bikers getting a fight or anything. If they did, I didn't. You would have to know them, I guess, know if they got in fights, because it was real rowdy anyway out there. Everybody hooting and hollering and having good times, revving their bikes up. Because we showed up in one of my buddies' drive. I think he drove a Firebird. That's what he had. He had the old 80. Like an 88 Firebird. It was pretty cool. I don't know if you know what an 88 Firebird looks like. It is just a sports car. Yeah. You know, he didn't have the real fancy one, I don't think. He ended up getting a fancy one later on in time. But that was pretty funny though, man. Go from where I'm about to shit myself because this dude I couldn't believe threw a rock off a cliff. Then we go down to a place that you expect mayhem, chaos, and your ass kicked at and had a good time. I was surprised. Yeah. Because it was mellow up there. It was nice. That's why we always try to find places, especially being minors at the time too, to drink at, so to speak, and keep it a small, close-knit friends. It was hard to do. You didn't really want to get, a group of people because somebody was going to act a fucking fool. Yeah. For you to, I don't want to risk being in trouble. I know nobody else wants to risk being in trouble. We're trying to, we're already doing something wrong by drinking. That's enough, we're trying to get away with doing this. We don't need you adding pressure to the situation. Throwing your beer cans out the fucking car.
Yeah.
Hooting and hollering, hanging out the window. That kind of shit we didn't let fly, you know. Now, if you want to do that and we're out in the North 40th in the backwoods type shit where you're cornfielding it, okay, I get it. Then you can do it because nobody's going to see you. When you don't do that shit in town drunk, being teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get caught.
Isn't that don't break more than one rule or one law at a time?
Yeah, exactly. Because you got to figure there's going to be things that are going to catch you up anyway. You know, you're already risking going home smelling like beer. You're risking, or alcohol, I guess.
Yeah.
You're risking being pulled over. You know, there's factors keep escalating at a point. You got to cut ties with people like that at a point. If you can't go out and have a good time and person behave yourself, what's the sense? If you like that chaos and mayhem, that's up to you. Because I know, like, your friends, like who you hang with, a couple of them are a little yahoo-y, but they're like mild compared to the stuff that I grew up with. Like the ways the guys I knew would push their luck.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'm pretty proud of you that you got good friends like that.
Yeah, I try.
Yeah,
I really do, to be honest.
And you'll agree with this. It's hard to cut people off that you like, but you know that they're not good for you for one reason or another. You know, I've had to do it many times, and it sucks.
Me too.
You know, knowing they're good people and stuff. You know, it's almost like they take advantage of your friendship, regardless.
Yeah.
Any way you look at it, if you have to tell them or tell yourself and just get away from whatever, can't be friends with them, that is a bad thing for them. They need to look at themselves for that, them, not you.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, I had friends, they turned on me and be just, well, just, you know, you do this, you do that. Well, yeah, bring up every bad element of me. I'm just telling you, shit with you just goes too far and I don't want to deal with it. I'm not labeling you and calling everybody in town saying, hey, don't hang with Johnny, do no good. You know, he over here. I don't throw your business in the street or nothing. I just prefer, listen, dude, I don't want to risk going to jail. I don't want to risk pissing these people off that may come back at us and catch us and beat us to a bloody pulp. Yeah. You know, I don't want that. You're acting crazy. I don't want that kind of thing. And then they blame you like it's your fault. I've had others go, yeah, dude, you ain't cut out for this kind of shit. You may not want to run with me. You know, I've had guys tell me, nah, man, I'm just too far gone for you. I don't want you fucked up like this because you don't need to put your life in that type of situations. I've had guys like that too. I thought, and they were all right dudes. I guess what they picked in life, you knew one or two outcomes most likely. So they just told you, man, you don't need this shit. You're not cut for it. Yeah. Because they've made their peace with living and dying, I guess. Or thought they had. I can't really honestly say for sure, but those kind of guys I respected for that. Okay, man, I get it. I don't want to run with you. That's cool, you know, because I'm not one that wants to be in trouble and go away. Yeah. We're talking about mischief. We're not talking about all of a sudden you're catching a bank robbery. Oh, yeah. You know, you know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. Like, these guys are like, nah, man, the level I'm going on, you don't want to be, you're yahooing it. I'm escalating it, you know, to this level. You're just down here egging a house and toilet papering a tree. We're not, you're not trying to get a prison sentence out of a night out, you know. Yeah. And stuff. And I respected those kind of guys that just told you, dude, you ain't cut out for this. Don't run with us. Go on. Some of my friends are good. Some of them, I can tell you right now, will never see the light of day or have already lost the light of day and fertilizing the ground, so to speak. Those people, you know, I'm kind of glad I didn't really, they were just small inclement moments of my life and time. Yeah. They didn't, nothing bad come from it. It was more, you seen them before they went full-blown bad, young, stuff like that. Yeah. That was the thing with them. So it's sad to see how they turned out, but you knew it. You knew one way or the other they were going to end up like that. That's why they were small moments of my time. Maybe like some guys I hung out with in high school for maybe 6 months was all the hangout time. Yeah. Because I knew they'd be in trouble and everything. So as my youth, I rebelled, but I didn't rebel. So, you know, I guess, all right, son, we'll go ahead and call episode 19 one, and we'll, folks, also episode 20 will be coming out quicker than you expect. It should be out within days after this episode. sorry for being late. We did have a few family issues we are dealing with, so we are going to be letting you know in episode 20 what's all going on, and we will be calling this a end tonight, huh, son, on 19.
Yep.
All right, thank you for listening to Dad
and Son on the Coffee Bar Stories.
Thank you for listening. This is Dad
and Son on the Coffee Bar Stories,
a DTZ Entertainment presentation.
Check in every 2 weeks for a new episode. All music was brought to you today by Kevin MacLeod.